All right, welcome back. Today, we're jumping into one of the trickiest, but honestly, one of the most beatable parts of the digital SAT. We're talking about those pesky transition and logical flow questions. Let's get right into it. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're reading a passage, it's all making sense, and then, bam, you hit a blank with four options like however, moreover, consequently, and similarly. And you read it with each one, and after a minute, they all start to sound kind of right. It's a super common feeling.
Well, I'm here to tell you that feeling is 100% justified. They are absolutely designed to be traps. They're built to prey on your gut instincts and what you think sounds smart or academic. But today we're going to learn how to see right through that nonsense.
This right here, this is the one and only rule you need to burn into your brain. The SAT does not care about fancy words. It only, and I mean only, cares about the logical relationship between two ideas. Forget everything else. This is the key that unlocks the whole thing.
So let's just completely reframe the entire problem. You are not being tested on your vocabulary. Nope. You're being tested on your ability to be a logic detective. All you're doing is looking for the connection, that solid bridge between two sentences. This slide basically breaks down the massive mental shift you have to make. On the left, that's the trap where most people fall. They choose by vibes, they pick a word because it sounds fancy, but the high score, they're living on the right side of this chart. They are laser focused on one thing. What is the actual logical relationship here?
And here's the really good news. The SAT isn't infinitely creative with this stuff. They test the same small handful of logical relationships over and over and over again. So once you know what they are, you can spot them every single time. Let's build out your toolkit. This table is your game plan. Seriously, almost every single transition question is going to fall into one of these 5 buckets: addition, contrast, cause and effect, example, or conclusion. If you master these 5 categories, you've pretty much mastered this part of the test. Think of this as your secret cheat sheet.
So, how does the SAT use these categories to mess with you? Well, their favorite trick is to give you a word from the wrong category that almost sounds right. Like they'll tempt you with a contrast word when what you really need is a cause and effect word.
Okay, take a look at this classic example. Nevertheless is a contrast word, right? It's in the same family as however. And on a gut level, you might read this and think, yeah, that sounds okay. You see limited and you see clear, and your brain kind of thinks, oh, opposites. But are they really?
Let's really dig into it for a second. Is the idea of limited data in logical opposition to the idea of clear results? Does one truly contradict the other?
Not at all. Not even close. In fact, you could even argue that the results being clear is more impressive because the data was limited. There is no logical contrast here. So nevertheless is 100% completely, totally wrong. See how simple that becomes when you just focus on pure logic?
Okay, now for the part you've been waiting for. This is the actual step-by-step process that turns these questions from a wild guess into a guaranteed point. This is the exact method that top scorers use every time.
The process is just 4 simple steps. 1. Read the first sentence. 2. Read the second sentence. Now hold on, because step 3 is the most important part of all. You ignore the answer choices. You decide for yourself what the relationship is. Is it contrast, an example, a cause and effect? Only after you have your own answer do you look at the options in step 4 and find the one that matches what you already decided. And look, I'm just going to say it one more time because it's that crucial. The moment you start thinking, which one of these sounds the best, you have fallen right into their trap. The SAT is literally counting on you to do that. Don't give them the satisfaction. Stick to the 4-step method. Now here's the best part. This exact same skill, it's the key to crushing another major question type on the digital SAT. Let's see how this logic applies to those sentence placement questions. You know, when the test asks you, where does this sentence best fit in the paragraph? That's not a grammar question. It is a logic question in disguise. You're doing the exact same thing, finding the one spot where an idea connects perfectly with what comes before it and what comes after it. So these are the little breadcrumbs you're looking for. If a sentence says, this theory, well, it has to come directly after that theory was just explained. If it starts with, for example, it has to follow the point it's trying to illustrate. And here's the golden rule. The one thing that can never be broken. A sentence can't show up before the thing it's talking about. Ever. Okay, and here's a little pro tip for when you get stuck between two possible spots. You gotta get super specific. Don't just ask, is this a contrast? Ask yourself, what exactly is it contrasting with? Only one of the options will have that perfect, precise, undeniable logical fit. All right, let's bring it all home with a rapid-fire reality check. This is all you really need to remember when one of these questions pops up on your screen. Remember, if the second sentence just adds more information, continuing in the same direction, you need an addition word, something like furthermore. Simple. If that second sentence does a U-turn or shows a completely different side of the argument, you're looking for a contrast word, like however. If it dives deeper, gives a specific case, or clarifies a bigger idea, you need an example word. Think specifically or for instance. And finally, if it's summarizing everything or showing the result of what just happened, you need a conclusion word, like therefore. It really is that straightforward when you break it down. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. Once you master this one skill, just understanding the logical flow of ideas, these question types basically start answering themselves. You'll begin to see the hidden architecture in every single passage. The goal isn't just to master transition words, it's to master how ideas connect. And honestly, what could be a more valuable skill than that?